Hello, people of the world! This is Jason is Lost, Japanese culture, adventure, and of course Gundam. And today I have my review of the Bandai Master Grade RX-78-2 Gundam version 3.0. Do make sure you've watched my previous video on this channel, the unboxing of this kit, if you're curious about what comes in the box and all the runners. But here we are with the review. Now, this kit is excellent. I love it. I had so much fun building it, and of course, I highly recommend it. This kit always comes up against the Origin version Master Grade, which came out about 2 years later. This kit, the 3.0, is from 2013. The Origin kit is from 2015. And I spent far too much time weighing up which to buy, the pros and cons of each, and there's going to be all sorts of subjective review videos out there. You've probably seen them already, and the best thing I can do for you is demonstrate why I chose the 3.0 over the Origin. I'll also go over the good points and some of the negative points, and if you're still around at the end, I'll run through the articulation and the posing. So first, I'll take you through what's in the box. So, the 3.0. The first ever Master Grade was, of course, the RX-78 from the original Mobile Suit Gundam series. Later on, they did a 1.5. And then they did a 2.0, which is still considered a great kit with its more cartoonish proportions. I'm very interested in getting that kit as well. And now we have this, the 3.0, which is much more realistic, much more technical in its details and proportions, based very closely on the life-size RX-78 from 2010, the one they put outside Odaiba in Japan, Tokyo. And there's a real grade kit that came out in 2010 as well. That's 144th scale. So before taking a proper look at the figure itself, let's take a look at what else you get in the box. And you do get a little figure of Amuro Ray for you to paint, for you to customize, place it next to it however you wish. One thing I haven't added to the kit are these clear parts for inside the two sets of veneers on the backpack. Kind of have the idea to paint these maybe, or paint the inside of the veneers first, but those go inside the parts on the backpack. You also have these optional parts. These are different joint parts for the elbows, behind the knees, and the ankles. Now the kit and the box describe these as magnetic joint part variations. Magnetic. I have no idea what that means. These are optional parts. If you know what that means, please let me know in the comments below, because I have no idea what the difference is. The ones I've got on the kit itself at the minute, I think they look a lot cooler, and you see a little bit of the grey frame underneath. But if you've got an explanation for what these are, do let me know. You also get an adapter to put this kit on an action base, standard action base by Bandai. You get two beam saber blades in pink see-through plastic to go with the two beam sabers on the top of the kit there. And I'm sure you're all curious about the weapons here. As a note, they all fit on the shield itself, so putting the shield on the back, you can carry all the weapons at once. We have here, so firstly, the beam rifle here. It's got some contrasting parts, moving parts. You've got the magazine here, which moves. We've got the handle in a contrasting colour. We've also got the sight here, which not only moves, but has this awesome giant yellow part, which really contrasts, and the little peg here, so this plugs into the inside of the shield, as you saw, or will go onto the back of the waist to store it, and you can just fold that away while you're using it. Do note the tiny little tab here that comes out to help you affix it to the hands. We've also got the beam bazooka, similarly has a little peg here which will go into the back of the waist or the shield. We can just fold that away, and the handle itself will move slightly, and that's a really cool looking solid piece. And just with the beam rifle, we've got this tiny little tab here that will come out and help you in attaching it to the hands. And of course we've got the shield, which looks really cool. We've got this handle here that will move back and forth. We've got a brace here that will brace onto the arm, or if you're attaching it to the back, then this little peg will connect into the back of the backpack. And even on the top here, this little area here, the shield, there is an opening closed hatch. Push this little tab here up, and there we go. That will cover the hole in the top. And of course we've got the sticker sheet here. There's one for the eyes that I haven't put on. There's some great ones here for the shoulders. Lots of safety warning markings that I haven't used here at all. We've also got the bronze metallic ones here. These are used for inside the joints, some of the internal points, and they'll look great at first, but I was warned not to use them because the use of the joints wear them away really quickly. You'll see that I've actually used a gold pen. I haven't panel lined the kit yet, but I've used gold pen on a lot of the elbow, inside the knees. Even they're rubbing away quite quickly, but I haven't top coated the kit yet. I believe I'll go over it again in gold and use some top coating. Hopefully that will improve here. So that's probably a better bet than using these, which will rub away and look quite poor because the stickers are peeling off. If you're so inclined, there is an alternative option. This is the Water Slide Gundam decal set for this 3.0 Master Grade. These look quite terrible. These are their version, a Water Slide version of the metallic bronze stickers. They don't look anywhere near as good, but a gold pen is probably better. Here we've got some really good alternatives for the shoulder pieces, the warning markings. Across the board, water slides are going to look much better compared to the stickers. But I haven't had time for this. I haven't had any free time to really commit to putting these stickers on yet, but I like the idea of having time in the future. So I bought this with the best intentions, and hopefully in the future I'll get to show off how this looks. And we do have some bonus extra parts here. These are the original handles from the beam bazooka and the beam rifle. Because this kit uses a different style of hands and different tabs that come in to connect the weapons, these are the old version that you certainly don't need for this kit. And you also have these extra beam saber handles, just because these were with the 2.0. The 3.0 has its own new unique tabs that come out to connect the weapons to the hands. So you've got these instead. So let's take a proper look at the kit, and I suppose the first point against the Origin kit is that you don't have a core fighter inside. Negative point about this kit though, the 3.0, is that it is a real struggle to get out. And I'll show you this. So you're actually taking the body apart, and usually what happens is that the inner point there, the waist part, actually does not come out all the way. Let's try and get this out. There we go. So let's put that back in the waist. There we go. Grab the nose cone. There you have your core fighter. And this, I suppose, a negative about this kit is that this, without the body, is kind of delicate. There's not as much strength to it compared to the Origin. But what we do here, so we've taken out the core fighter. What we have is a core block, and this is just to sit inside to replace the core of the kit. And so this just plugs straight onto there. We have the pilot inside, we have the core mechanisms there, and we'll just place the rest of the kit back on top, and there we are. There we've got our, okay, the shoulder's gone a bit there, I'll fix that in a second. And here we have this fantastic core fighter, which will transform. If you bring up the nose cone, it will actually bring up the rear fin at the same time, which is great. The nose cone comes out. There is a position to be upright and inside the Gundam, and you can flick it up with this portion underneath. And now the cockpit is there with the figure of Amuro Ray. You can also pull out the canopy and raise that up so you can see Amuro in there. Close that up. The wings itself, just pull out individually. And with the core fighter complete, I'm just going to bring out these missile launchers with a knife, something thin and delicate. There we go. They're a bit tough to get out, but there they are. That's cool. And lastly, we have these clear parts here, a stand, these landing wheels for the core fighter, and they will go right there. So one of the main reasons really why I chose this kit is the amount of paneling and the different use of colours. Much better compared to the Origin kit here. We've got so many different shades of grey. We've got a dark grey, we've got a medium grey, we've got a light grey. It definitely doesn't seem like it's white. It seems white compared to the others. I've noticed here I haven't actually panel lined this at all. This kit will look even better with panel lining. But these different shades of colours that go up and down the kit, down the arms, we've got medium greys, light greys. In the torso here, you've got 2 different shades of red, 2 different shades of blue across all of this. It's really, really cool. A really realistic take on how the paneling is going to be different all over the kit. What I love here is just the amount of detail inside the elbows, at the back of the knees, the amount of different paneling here. The gold here, again, I've used gold pen. It's wearing away despite the little amount of use. I'll need to go over it again and maybe use some top coat. I think that will help. But the movement of the panels here is lovely. The movement of the elbow panels. Again, down the knees here, you've got some great movement detail from these panels that are all working together at once. It's great. And even down here at the bottom of the foot, you've got this panel here that will come out if the foot goes back far enough. And that's meant to happen. It will close up if you're standing up, and then if you go back, that's meant to open up there. I think this will be subjective as well, but I prefer this shape of the head on the 3.0 kit. I saw on the Origin, it looks a bit more squat, a little bit more squashed, whereas this seems larger, it seems bigger, more square. Maybe it's subjective, I don't know, but I definitely preferred this head. Notice the backpack as well as having extra thrusters underneath. We've got 4 here. They're quite small, you can barely see them, but these 2 at the middle ones and the larger ones. The use of colour here as well, this white strip, grey strip against the back is pretty cool, and it's got some definition and some contrast. Compared to the Origin kit, it's just black. It's not as interesting. Let's also show off the feet here. This is sort of a minor thing, but I really preferred how these feet function with the outer red part here and the thrusters within. These feet joint in 3 places, depending on how you want to stand the kit. But most importantly, compared to the Origin kit, you've got red and grey joints, and it seemed like it didn't feel as natural with the grey and the red breaking at once. This felt a lot more realistic. That is completely subjective. And so while the 3.0 does have the beam bazooka, the Origin version of the kit does have a sight on the beam bazooka. The Origin kit does come with the regular beam rifle, but also comes with an additional rifle. There's a third weapon. It's similar to this, but has the sight further back. I'm pretty sure it's going to be unique to the Origin manga, the Mobile Suit Gundam Origin manga that the Origin kit is based off. So that's going to be interesting, which you might be interested in. I will concede that the opening of the hatch on the front of the Origin kit is much better. On the 3.0 here, this opens upwards. You can see Amuro in there on the core block that we put in earlier. And we're going to open up this little hatch here, which should pop up there, and you can see Amuro through there. But the Origin kit, it opens up downwards. It's much better, it's much cleaner, it looks much cooler, so that is better on the Origin kit. So I will say, in addition to how much I love the internal frame and all the moving panels, especially on the legs and the rear of the knees, inside of the elbows, and even on the back here, I find it more detailed than the Origin kit. The knees on the Origin kit are really oddly shaped. They're quite pointy. They come out quite far, and it's, you know, you bend the knee, especially if you've got it kneeling down. These pieces kind of really point out and it's really irregular. I'm not a fan of that at all. Now this kit, as well as the Origin kit, they both have the ability to add an internal LED. It should be easy enough to pull out the yellow part there, and inside you have the space where you put the LED, and there's internal parts there that are clear, and the light will shine up through to the clear eyes. But there are a couple of major differences between the Origin kit and this kit. The Origin kit will actually come with, there's a little portion of the shoulder here that flaps up, and inside is the little plastic piece of a machine gun, something you can pull up and down and reveal if you wish. And on the other side here, you've got a kind of a built-in portion that looks like guns or vents or something, but you can't remove that. I'm not really a fan of it myself, and it is one of the portions where you put the Origin kit's effect parts. The Origin kit does have some effect parts to use with the kit and the weapons and on the body there. It's not really my thing. I think personally I was more interested in a kit that can stand like a statue and look pretty cool and realistic, rather than something that's part of a diorama or in the middle of action. So that is my preference for this kit here. Okay, I'll do my best to show off the articulation here. So the neck is on a double joint here. There's a large part in the neck which has a bit of freedom, goes back and forth, and then inside the head there's a ball joint, and this is going to move obviously 360, but also to the sides. Further down the body, I've explained that opening hatch gimmick with the little hatch on the front there. At the waist, or even in the middle of the body, they do move quite a bit. There's not much of a crunch. The segments of the body will move, only lightly, only a small portion, but each portion does. The top part there moving, the red part there moving back and forth. The lower one doesn't, but that's where it swivels, and you can see that swiveling. Not all the way, but until there. This front portion does move back and forth, but does close into place fully there. I'm not too sure why it moves, but it does. The side skirts here, the front ones are on a ball joint and a hinge, so they will go up and down forwards there, but they're also on a ball joint inside, so they can move up and down there. The side ones are on a little ball joint. They've only got a little bit of movement, but they will turn all the way around and come out a little bit. And the rear ones here, it's much easier to see how the side and the rear parts are connected on one piece, so they'll move independently from the front ones, and the rear one here on a little ball joint that again will have a little bit of side to side and up and down. On the backpack here, both the beam saber holders, they are on little ball jointed things sticking up, so they've got quite a bit of freedom of movement. The thrusters here move up and down on their own piece, but each individual thruster can move up and down as well. There's two tiny little thrusters in there which can move here with this solid piece as well. And on the centre of the backpack here, we've got a panel that will flip round and you can plug in the shield. Boom, there we go. Similarly, on the rear of the waist here, we'll have this panel that will come out and allow you to plug in either of the weapons in these little slots here. So on the shoulder inside here we have this blue part that will come up to give you a lot more movement in. So in the top of the shoulder we've got a large blue pit there. So in the top of the shoulder we've got this great blue bit that will come up and give you a bit more freedom of movement. Inside we've got the arm, which is on two ball joints, which gives it a bit of freedom of movement in there. It's a bit confined because of how tight it is, but if you work it a bit, you've got a bit more freedom of movement. From the shoulder, obviously the arm here goes up and down. This shoulder piece is quite delicate. It does fall out of its connection to the arm quite a bit, and it probably will while I'm showing you this, but it's easy enough to fix it and put it on. There is a bit of movement here on the front of the shoulders here. I don't know how useful that is. I think it's just making it more delicate, but it does give you a bit more freedom. Top of the shoulder here, that will move back and forth, and on the elbows, of course, full range of movement all the way up there. And this is where I realise I'm actually missing a part, which has disappeared somewhere, but no worries, I'll show you on the other hand here. There is an additional white part on the inside of the wrist here. That moves with the inner ball joint at the end of the hand. This part gives it some movement as well. Even on the hand itself, there's a lot of movement. There's a little peg here in the middle of the hand that will come out and allow you to have a secure connection with the weapons. These 3.0 hands, this was my first experience with them. I was quite terrified, but they actually had, they worked pretty well. The one at the end of this thing is very loose, but I managed to put it back on. All of these little joints move. This part comes out as a flat, solid piece, and you just have to be very gentle and work all of the joints individually. Take your time. I could have probably cleaned these up a little bit better, but I was far too terrified. But what you end up with is a really cool hand, which has a lot of movement in it and a lot of expression. So at the top of the leg here, we have the three-dimensional movement from the waist. Down at the leg here, we've got the knee moving in two places. Lots of awesome panel movement there. As I mentioned before, that's the foot coming off. You've got the little portion at the back here that will move. Great part here. There's two panels here that seemingly do nothing, but they're there just to counteract the slight indent that bringing the leg all the way back makes on this leg. So just giving you a little extra bit of movement, which is cool. At the end of the ankle here, the foot is on a ball joint, which will go all over the place. You've also got this part that moves back and forth, and the foot itself, which will bend and open in three different places there. So, after all that, I believe I've covered both the positives and the negatives of this kit and explained why I certainly preferred this one. This kit is wonderful for all its detailed internal parts, especially around the elbows and the knees, and definitely if you're a fan of the contrasting colour shades all across the body, up and down there. I prefer the head shape on this kit. I prefer the way the feet are moulded in the different colours. I like the extra colours on the backpack, but you may prefer the origin. For example, if you want the effect parts, it wasn't something I was after, but you might prefer them. You might prefer, which I do concede is a much better front hatch on the front of the kit. You might also be a big fan of the extra weapons on the Origin kit. You've got the variant blaster rifle, you've got the wrist blasters that you can switch out, you've got the shoulder cannons, you've got the additional parts on the front of the shoulders with the Gatling gun that will pop in and out at your whim. I'd also say the Origin kit is likely more solid, definitely in terms of not having the core block. Once you take out the core block and you're trying to mess around with the top of the kit, it's definitely quite delicate. I definitely prefer the 3.0. I'm definitely considering taking a look at the 2.0 kit because I do like the cartoon aesthetic, and that will be a good comparative piece compared to this, the 3.0. And so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun reviewing the RX-78-2 3.0 here, and there's lots more Gundam to come as well as the Gundam videos I've already made. Do please check them out, but stay tuned for more kits, reviews of some bizarre kits, some rare kits, some real treasures I've been able to find, and I hope you'll enjoy those videos, so stay tuned. And as well as my many Gundam videos, I also make videos about my life in Japan, travel vlogs, all sorts of guides, and just day-to-day stuff, especially now with me returning to Japan to teach English. It's going to be very interesting, so I look forward to keeping you updated on my life in Japan. Do let me know if you have any questions. Do comment below, and it really helps if you give the video a like. And you'll also see me streaming live on twitch.tv/JasonIsLost. I'm going to be building Gundam live, going to be playing Japanese games. Really looking forward to hanging out with you lot and letting my hair down and having some fun, so do go and follow that channel. Hey, maybe I'm even live right now, and I'll see you on there. I will leave the video there, but again, thank you very much for all your support, and I'll I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello people of the world, Jason here, letting you know that as well as YouTube videos about my life in Japan, I'll also be streaming on twitch.tv/JasonIsLost, playing Japanese games, IRL streaming, hanging out with you guys. So once you're done here, head over to twitch.tv/JasonIsLost, follow my page and you'll be notified when I'm live, and I'll see you then.